Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
And now, back to our show.
Welcome in. It's the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I am your host, Cam Stewart, Zach Burke, keeping us on the air as he does 5 days a week. Let's get rid of this. Let's just talk to you people like your people. We're going to talk some Bruins today. We're also going to have Pete Souza joining to talk some sports movies because we're having some fun on a Friday. And we will go over some Jarren Duran trade packages as those rumors start to heat up once again for the Red Sox. And those of you who watch the show know I've talked about that a couple of times, man. Like, I think they need to make that move. And it's not even because I hate Duran like some people do. I think there's no way you don't make that move for what's coming in return. But first, we are going to start with the Bruins. We're going to start where we start here. Why did the Bruins suck this past year? Why did the Bruins miss the playoffs for the first time in 9 years? Why did they regress so heavily? How have they fallen from 2 years ago being the best regular season team in NHL history to being where they are now, a team that's picking inside the top 10 this year and probably should be thinking about doing the same thing for next year? How did we get here? I get this question all the time. I hear it. And mainly when looking at 2024-25, the answer I hear the most is, well, come on. They got hurt. Hampus Lindholm was out for most of the year. Elias Lindholm was battling something. Charlie McAvoy wasn't on your team for the last 2 months of the season. They weren't in a playoff picture at the Four Nations break, which is when Charlie McAvoy got hurt, and they were farther out of the picture by the time the season ended, obviously. I hate that. I hate Bruins fans just saying, oh, well, that's the problem. They were just hurt. There's some analysts saying that too. Next year, when they get these guys back, they'll be just fine. Although they failed to mention that Hampus Lindholm didn't really have a good 23-24 season. Kind of took a step back. And Charlie McAvoy has not been the same player the last year and a half that he was the years before that, or that we projected him to be at this point in his career. That's not saying Charlie McAvoy's bad. I still really like him. But let's be honest with ourselves. Has he made the jump that you thought he was going to make by age 27 here, 28? Hasn't for me. I thought by this point he was going to be a Norris Trophy kind of guy. He was top 5 in the Norris voting back-to-back years in 2021 and 22. And his buddy, the guy who's compared to all the time, Adam Fox, goes out and wins one. And where's Charlie McAvoy? Good enough. Good enough. Number 1 defenseman. Not a number 1 defenseman on a Stanley Cup contender. And then lo and behold, there we are. So when people say it's just the injuries that got the Bruins to where they were in 2024-25, they didn't watch this team. It goes much deeper than that. You know why they weren't very good in 2024-25? You want the real reason? Part of it was because Jeremy Swayman brings a whole lot of drama to this locker room right before the season. Days before the season, he finally signs a contract. Remember the captain, Brad Marchand? Remember when he played for the Bruins? Yeah, he was saying, I don't talk about contract stuff in the media. We don't really do that around here. Clear, veiled shot at Jeremy Swayman. Guy doesn't have a preseason, goes in and has a career worst year when he's finally making some money. Sets the market and then sucks as a huge drop-off. Is genuinely one of the worst starting goalies in the entire NHL. So was it because they were injured? Or because the position that they value more than most teams in the league had a huge drop-off in 24-25? Or maybe, just maybe, it was because they couldn't put the puck in the net. Remember that? 29th in the league in goal scoring. 29th in power play percentage. Oh, but they were second in fights. So you want to tell me they didn't make the postseason because they were injured when they're sitting there in 29th place in goal scoring, in power play? Oh, yeah, I bet that's because they were injured. Because they had all these elite offensive players that were just injured this past year. It had nothing to do with the fact that this front office does not know how to replace any kind of talent that they had. Let's go back to the real reason. Looking back at the 23-24 team, which absolutely overachieved by finishing second in the division, by winning a playoff round, even though it was the Leafs, that was an overachievement in 2023-24. And you look at the guys that had career years that year. Charlie Coyle, 60 points. Where did that come from? 60 points on 25 goals. Completely out of nowhere. You thought, probably never going to get that again, and you didn't. Pavel Zacha, 59 points. He's down to 47 this year. Played for your team the whole season. Morgan Geekie is the only one that took a step up. But I look at the guys who aren't even here anymore. Oh, I'll mention Trent Frederick as well. He'll never, ever, ever have a 22-goal season again. Or an 18-goal season, 40-point season. He's not going to do that. Not going to do that again after what we saw last year. But let's look at the guys who didn't make the trip from 23-24 to 24-25. Jake DeBrusk, Danton Heinen, James Van Riemsdyk, Kevin Shattenkirk. All guys that I think an average GM to above average GM in this league can replace the production for. Maybe everyone but DeBrusk. DeBrusk was 40 points. Danton Heinen, career journeyman, career year, 36 points. James Van Riemsdyk, 38 points. Kevin Shattenkirk, 24 points. Those were crucial depth guys on your team that were sometimes even healthy scratches. The Bruins didn't replace any of that. Any of it. Like, think of that. DeBrusk, Heinen, Van Riemsdyk. They combined for what? 38 plus 36 is 74 plus 40. That's 114 points that they just didn't replace. They replaced it with Elias Lindholm, who had 47, and fill in the blank. They replaced it with Matty Patra, with Johnny Beecher, with Justin Brazeau for half the season, with Marat Husnudinov. They didn't replace that production at all. Here's where I get really pissed off with Don Sweeney and all those people who are still defending Don Sweeney after all these years. It's okay if you're a good team taking a stance and saying, you know what, Jake DeBrusk, you can walk. We're not giving you a 7-year deal if you can't produce 50 points or more for us in any given season. I'm okay with that. But then you've got to replace him. And they didn't do it. And they didn't do it this offseason either. Which also leads us to the guys that they did bring in. Finally, for the first time in about 9 years, the last time they missed the playoffs before this year, Don Sweeney's got some money to work with in free agency. There's been 2 times in his tenure with the Bruins that he's really had enough money that he could cook out on the free agent market. You'll remember 2015, it was going into the 15-16 season. And it was Jimmy Hayes, David Backes, and Matt Bolesky. Zach Ronaldo, that piece of shit. Those are the guys that Don Sweeney went out and got that year. This time around, he's got money again. He's going to be bold. He's going to put his ball sack right out on the table, and he's going to let Jake DeBrusk walk. How does he respond? Elias Lindholm, 7-year deal for almost $8 million a year, and Nikita Zadorov on a 5-year deal. Nikita Zadorov, who's on team number, 6 or 7 of his career, as he just turns 30. Yeah, 5-year deal. Here's where it'll stick. Here's where he will really stick. This is like the mentality that Don Sweeney has that just doesn't add up. You know, here's where he'll be a real force for us. And I kind of like Zadorov. I hope he is a force for the Bruins in the future. But to say he had a good first year would be lying. Elias Lindholm, same thing. Everyone else saw the writing on the wall. Calgary saw it. In Calgary, Elias Lindholm played alongside Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk. And that's when he became a point-a-game player. And when those guys were gone, his numbers dipped. And Calgary was willing to trade him at the trade deadline. And then Vancouver, who got him, who just spent capital on him, was willing to let him walk. And Don Sweeney says, no, you know what? He's going to do well with us. We can't put 2 superstars next to him. We can put one, and he didn't even play well with him, and that's David Pastrnak. But we're going to be the ones that figure this out. Again, not the case. David Backes, all the way back 10 years ago, an icon with the Blues. He was the team captain. And nobody in the room thought, why are they letting him walk? He's kind of the face of their franchise. Why are they letting him walk? And why, when he's on the wrong side of 30, are we going to sign him to a 5-year deal and expect that to work out? That's where I get pissed off with Don Sweeney. He makes good trades sometimes at the trade deadline. I'll give him that. But he doesn't really draft well. He doesn't spend money well. You know, he doesn't get good free agents on good deals. He doesn't fleece anybody ever. And I think he can't read the writing on the wall. And he doesn't replace production, man. Doesn't replace it. Again, if you want to let Torrey Krug go, fine. They didn't really replace him, but they had a good enough team at the time that it was okay. But then when you're not as good, when you're a team that just wins one playoff round, and you let a 40-point scorer go, and you can't replace him, like that's a big time. That's really bad. That's a really bad look on a general manager. And it's I know I've been killing Don Sweeney for most of this summer, but I think most of you guys would agree with me on it. And I just hate, I keep seeing it pop up that, now that the Bruins are healthy, they'll be much better. I just don't see that vision. I wish I did. It would make me happier, but I don't see that vision. The reason why the Bruins didn't make the playoffs this year is because they have a front office with terrible asset management, and they didn't replace any of the fluke production that they got the year before. Looking back on it, should the 23-24 Bruins have even won a playoff series and finished second in the really good Atlantic Division? No, they shouldn't have. They overachieved. And they let a couple of Jags walk and a couple of nice players walk, and they couldn't replace it, which is amazing. Like, we're not talking about like Hall of Fame players here, okay? We're talking about Jake DeBrusk, Danton Heinen, Kevin Shattenkirk, James Van Riemsdyk, Matt Grzelcyk. Guys who in a vacuum, like, that's okay to let them go. But most teams let those guys go because they can bring somebody in. Like, how do you not replace those points? It should be pretty easy. You let all those guys go who you were paying nothing, right? I mean, we talk about the 114 points, right? Is that what I just laid out? Heinen, DeBrusk, JVR, Kevin Shattenkirk. You weren't paying those guys anything. They didn't even they didn't come close to making a combined $7.75 million in the 23-24 season when they gave you 114 points. And then you went out and spent that same money, $7.75 million, on this year for a guy who gave you a third of those points. It's like the opposite of Moneyball. It makes no sense. That's where I get lost with Don Sweeney. You know, the people will say, oh, you know, this has to come every once in a while. You know, we had it so good for so long. But the reason why it came to this was because they couldn't replace Jake DeBrusk. That's where you lose me. That's where you lose me. You know, they knew the writing on the wall was coming for years. And no one was thinking they should have been a Stanley Cup contender last year. Nobody in their right mind was thinking that. But there's no reason, like with the outlook going into last offseason, that they should have been a worse team than Ottawa. In fact, they probably shouldn't have been a worse team than Montreal, who's going to blow them out of the water the next couple of seasons. So that's where you lose me. That is why the Bruins didn't make the playoffs this past year. It wasn't because Hampus Lindholm was hurt. It wasn't because Charlie McAvoy was hurt. It was because you had nobody who could put the puck in the goddamn net. Didn't go out and get anybody to do that. And you had to fire Sale because you did that to yourself. Now, here's where Cam can become positive here. How can they make the playoffs in 2025-26? It's a tall order. As evidenced by the fact that I did a segment on the show yesterday about why they should tank for Gavin McKenna. Okay, it's a tall order. You need a lot to go right for the Bruins to make the postseason this year. First things first, you're in one of the toughest divisions in hockey. Okay, in order for the Bruins to make the playoffs this year, you have got to be better than either Ottawa, Montreal, or even Detroit. And I don't think the Bruins are on that plane right now. I really don't. I think the Bruins are much closer to the team that they ended the season with than the one that they had that were in a playoff spot in January last year. Like, they were horrible, god-awful after the trade deadline, after they cleaned house. That's the team that you're rolling in with. Plus Sean Corrali and Tanner Jeannot. Like, you're really not getting huge reinforcements here. Here's how they can get into the postseason, though. They would need a lot of things to go right. They would need Charlie McAvoy and Hampus Lindholm to come back and find their form that they were in 2 years ago, almost 3 seasons ago, in the 2022-23 season, when Hampus Lindholm probably should have been a Norris finalist, and Charlie McAvoy was not that far off, coming off 2 top 5 Norris Trophy finishes in 21 and 22. They need those guys to come back and hit the ground running right away. They need Charlie McAvoy to be something he hasn't been in a couple of years. They need him to look like the Charlie McAvoy that we saw in the Four Nations when he was the best player on the ice in that U.S.-Canada game, round 1. That's what they need from him. They need Hampus Lindholm to be a legit two-way top 15, 20 defenseman again, which he's only had for a glimpse of his career. They need Elias Lindholm to be at least a 60-point guy, which he hasn't really been outside of the couple of years where he was in the 75, 80-point range with 2 terrific wingers on either side of him. All-Stars, future Hall of Famer, one of the great players of his generation, unfortunately cut down too soon in Johnny Gaudreau. You need him to be closer to that than he was to this. That's a big ask for Elias Lindholm. When he wasn't playing with those guys, you know what he's like? He's kind of like this Elias Lindholm. So you need that. You need Jeremy Swayman to get back to all-star form, and you need him to save some games for you. You need some Swayman points throughout this season, and you need somebody in the middle six to become a 25 goal scorer. Who is that? Matthew Poitras? Tanner Jeannot's never going to be that. Fraser Minton? Casey Middlestat? Pavel Zacha? I don't know that you have that guy. But if those things go right, and Ottawa kind of regresses to what they were the year before last, and Montreal has some growing pains, then maybe you got a shot. Maybe. But don't give me the excuse that the Bruins were injured. They were heading down this shit path, whether they were injured or not. And I'll be straight up with it. If Hampus Lindholm and Charlie McAvoy were on this team, I don't know that they would have made the playoffs anyway. I think they still had a humongous problem in goal scoring. So they're going to try to win a lot of games 2-1 this year, but I don't know how many times they're going to get to 2 goals. The other thing about it is if they did have those guys, they wouldn't have fire sailed at the trade deadline, which I think would have been worse for the Bruins in the long haul than what they actually did. So let me know what you think in the comments section below. What's the real reason why the Bruins did not make the playoffs in 2025? And can they make it in 2026? Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're bringing you Bruins content every single weekday, live on YouTube, and then available wherever you get your podcasts as well. Check out the other videos on YouTube, talking Bruins, talking everything else going on in the world of Boston sports. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air 5 days a week. Coming up, very special guest from the Pete Souza Show. You guessed it, Pete Souza. We're going to be talking about sports movies. We've talked about the best ones of the past. Why not the worst ones on a Friday in the summer? Let's do it next on The Cam Show.
We'll be right back after these quick words from our sponsors. This is Rogue Media Network.
Maud Lily is your go-to for stylish and affordable fashion that fits your life. Whether you're looking for the perfect swimsuit for a beach day, a chic dress for a night out, or cozy tops for everyday wear, Maud Lily has it all. Their extensive collection of swimwear, including bikinis, tankinis, and one-pieces, always keeps you on trend, while their dresses and tops come in flattering styles for every occasion. Visit maudlily.com today.
Natural Cycles identifies your fertile window by analyzing changes in your temperature. It's the first FDA-cleared birth control app. No hormones, no side effects, and 93% effective with typical use, and 98% effective with perfect use. Just measure in the morning, add your temperature into the app, then learn which days you can and cannot get pregnant. It's that easy. Learn more at naturalcycles.com.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home. Homes where the heart is. Home. There's no place like it. Homes are filled with memories and emotions. OfferPad knows this is your home, not your house. That's why we do what we do. Every day, we aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
And now, back to our show.
Back to the show, Cam Show, Rogue Media Sports Network. We have a special guest from the Flower Mound office here. Flower Mound. What do they call that when they get news? Bureaus, the Flower Mound Bureau. I can't hear you, Pete. I don't know. You might have muted yourself there, pal. From the Pete Souza Show, which is also part of this Rogue Media Sports Network, Inside the 12, ESPN, Pete Souza. I wanted to talk movies with you today, Pete, but before I do, I wanted to just throw kind of a a random kind of sports question at you. As someone who's been to hundreds, if not thousands of games, as a ticketed member of the crowd, most recently at FC Dallas, what are your thoughts on the social construct of buying a ticket and knowing it's going to be a sparsely populated game and moving down into better seats?
Well, I mean, it gets tricky as you get older because, I think you're still in the demographic that can do that. I can't. I mean, it's a pretty big time loser move unless they
loser move.
So I'm qualifying now. If
Okay.
you're over 35, you probably just shouldn't be engaging in behavior like that. And certainly if you're over 35 and you work in sports like we do and like I do, like I just don't want to get caught like moving down. Like it's just not a good look. Like it can't go well for me, Now the only way I could really get roped into it, and I'm trying to see the whole field here, is I don't have kids, but let's just say I was with like a nephew or a little kid or, somebody below the age of like 10 who was like, can we go down? Can we go down? Like, okay, maybe I see how that could happen. But like, as far as me and you being at a game and just like sneaking down, like I have to be invited by the ushers and like the fan relations team because the team sucks so bad, right? They bring you down from the upper bowl.
Yeah. So I did it recently because I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I'm a little wishy-washy. I mostly just don't like the feeling of doing it.
Yes, there's a reason.
And like potentially getting caught, which is obviously not a huge deal. Like they're not going to throw you out. But I went to a Cubs game in April and it was cold and it was raining. It started in a rain delay. And then the sun came out, but it was still pretty cold. And I was kind of in like the back, like under the facade and like the wind's coming at me. And there's a part of like the third baseline that's got just sun on it. And it's like 60 degrees when the sun's on you. So it feels great. And I'm freezing. It's like 44 with a wind chill where I'm sitting. And it's a day game during the week. There's not a lot of people there. So I just snuck my way down. And I tried to get into like the lower field box. And super nice old lady as the usher. I go and sit in my seat and she goes, "Oh, sir, honey, I'm going to need to check your ticket." I'm like, shit. And I said, she bailed me out. So she goes, "I'm going to need to check your ticket. Do you have 132?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I have 232. Sorry," like knowing that they're not going to check in the 200 that's also in the sun. But I'm thinking about it because today I was going to go to the White Sox game tonight. I don't really want to go. I got to knock off the ballpark while I'm living here. I'm only living here for another couple of weeks. I'm running out of opportunities. And they have a rescheduled game for today because they got their game rained out last night, 2:00. So I can get my stuff done and I can get out there. But it's weird. They're like not selling all the tickets. Like I know there's nobody that's gonna be at this game. It's a made up game at 2:00, and they're 30 games under 500. So I'm like, do I just buy an upper deck ticket for the lowest price? I'm like checking Reddit. Like, do they check the tickets? Everyone says they don't. So I feel like there's enough. We get to a point where there's enough empty seats that I don't feel bad at all.
Well, you can take a shot at it, right? Especially because the White Sox are so bad. I don't know, and you're not going to know anybody there.
No, it's going to be me, and it's just going to be me. I'm going to be there alone.
Why wouldn't you, Kim? Can I ask? Why wouldn't you just get one like kind of expensive ticket?
Because I'm fucking poor. Like that's why, man. I don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, there's not like a secondary.
I'm moving across the country in a couple of weeks. The cheapest. So that's what's weird. Game Time is what I typically use. No free plugs, but that is what I use all the time because they do last minute tickets and they do all in pricing. They don't do fees. But for some reason, because it's like a rain out made up game, they don't have like any tickets available. I don't understand why. I'd almost
what I used to do.
Driving to the fucking ballpark and buying a ticket there.
This is kind of like the Stone Ages, but I used to wait till like tip off or first pitch, and then you can buy you can scalp outside pretty good. Like it's a buyer's market at that point. once the game starts. So that's always like, because you can get good seats for a decent price.
But I'm just not in, like, obviously the White Sox tickets are not terrible, but like to sit where I kind of want to sit, I ain't spending $70 to go see the Chicago White Sox play.
How long will you stay?
I'll stay the whole game.
Then you should get decent tickets. I don't know. That's just
I'm also getting at that age, which is tough because, as I said, I don't have any money. I'm getting to that age where I really want to go to games, but I want to have good seats.
Yeah.
I used to obviously not care. I'd just be like, I'll be in the building, but. No.
And look, this isn't going to break you, right? Like, you're going to eat. I know this is true, so I'm just going to keep talking now.
Yeah.
So it's so rare that I hear someone talk about a live event experience and the fact that they went a little further into that experience, like maybe paid an extra $30. Like, it's like
which I do a lot actually at this point.
$30 for a lifetime, like of memories. Like, people don't complain about that. It's really rare.
Yeah.
Unless like Morgan Wallen comes out drunk or cancels the show, like, people really usually have a good time when they will go all in. So that's my advice, Cam. There you go.
I did that on Memorial Day when the Red Sox played in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I don't want bad tickets, but I'll go and get, reasonably priced tickets. And then Garrett Crochet was scheduled to pitch. And I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'm getting behind home plate. And I got this unbelievable ticket. And it was probably like $80, which is more than I should have spent for a Red Sox Brewers game. But it's also like I could have been paying $250 for that ticket at Fenway. So,
I mean, dude, I wish I was going to a fucking baseball game. I'm up here. I just get run around. I go to different places, different parties and events. We got to go to Austin for a dinner tonight. That's somebody's turning 40, and then we're coming back to Dallas to go to a fucking pool party tomorrow. Somebody else. It's like, these
brutal,
are,
man.
These are blocks of time that used to be all mine.
Don't you love it, Pete? Anyway, Pete Souza joining the show because we've talked about some of our favorite sports movies before, but I want to get in the worst of the worst. I watched a movie this week that is right up there, if not my absolute number one choice of like worst sports movie ever. So I start with you, Pete. Let's keep it real simple. What's the worst sports movie you've ever seen?
Necessary Roughness. I saw it in the theater. And you need to understand, like, I go to these movies, like, it ain't hard to impress me, right? Like,
I know. Yeah.
Like, any bit of realism connected to a movie that involves sports is like, that's, and God forbid you find a way to get the logos in there, like, and make a deal with Major League Baseball or something. Like, I'm in. Necessary Roughness had none of those things and was extremely just a bad, incoherent movie. And I love the premise too. It was basically like SMU. It was basically like this major program that is super successful. They cheated, they get the death penalty, and then you get a bunch of characters. But it's just like too out of control. It's just like, Scott Bakula, Kathy Ireland was the place kicker. Scott Bakula was a quarterback. Sinbad played up front. Robert Lagalia or somebody, I think he was the head coach. I'm talking about the
Robert Loggia?
Robert Loggia, there you go. Sorry, yeah. So whatever. It was that movie sucked. And I saw it with I was a freshman in high school, and I was so excited to see it, and I was so disappointed with what I saw.
There's a great link to your pick and the movie that I watched this week. But before I get into that, how do you, because I think you might feel differently about this one. How do you feel then, based off what you just said about Necessary Roughness? How then do you feel about Any Given Sunday?
I love it. Much better movie, dude. Any Given Sunday's good. I mean, I could watch that. That is I will watch it and then listen to the rewatchables that The Ringer does. I mean, I love that whole Any Given Sunday experience. There's so many amazing stories that come from behind the movie, and just there's so much there. I mean, just to imagine Cameron Diaz as like out of control owner of like a Miami football, it's really awesome. Yeah.
I'll take the Replacements over that any day.
Oh, Replacements sucked.
I know it does, but it knows it sucks.
I had two Richmond teammates who were in there. Joe Douglas, the guy who was the GM of the Jets, and Jasper Pendergrass. They were extras.
Huh.
But you can see him in a bunch of a bunch of the scenes because they just got done Richmond, so it was right up the road in DC. They filmed it.
Nice, man. I like that movie. It's wild that Gene Hackman's the coach in it, but like one of the greatest actors of all time.
And low key, that cheerleader that falls in love with Keanu Reeves, she was really a 10. I was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what she is, which I think is accurately depicted in the movie. She's a real life 10. She's not she's not like a movie babe. Like that's someone you could see in real life. And like, if your buddy married that woman, you'd be like, fuck, man, like that dude outkicked his coverage. Like what a life that guy, you know what I mean? Like that's
you'd be like Ryan Clark looking at RG3's wife, like being like, shit, man, he nailed it.
I think that's exactly what Ryan Clark thought, right? I think that was the
totally.
But like, if it was Cameron Diaz, you'd be like, "That's not real life. Like, that's fake."
Yes.
Yes. I don't even know the woman's name who played her. She was okay in that movie.
Super cute.
But you mentioned Scott Bakula in your movie, because the one I watched this week that brought this up is also Scott Bakula. That would be Major League 3 Back to the Minors.
Now that movie is awful. It's that movie's unwatchable.
It's so like, okay, because this is a good point that you're indirectly bringing up here, because there are some movies that know what they are. Okay. I think of Little Big League as one of my favorite baseball movies. It knows what it is. It's dumb. It's stupid. It's campy. They actually bring in some major leaguers in there and do some things really well. But like Major League 3 is trying to be like the first movie, which is very good. The second movie, which is not as nearly as good.
I'm looking up a movie as you talk.
It's like the last 3 years of Bruins hockey. Like Major League, okay, was the President's Trophy winning Bruins of 2 years ago. Then Major League 2 is like, it's still okay. Just like 23-24. And this last year it bottomed out. That's what Major League 3 was, with a young Walton Goggins in one of the starring roles. But
I know, Walton Goggins is in there. I did know that. I heard you and Zach talking about that the other day.
Yes. So this is what brings it up. I finished the movie, so it just doesn't make any sense. There's two movies about the Cleveland Indians, and then all of a sudden it's like, it's the Twins now. Hope you didn't notice. Roger Dorn's now the GM of the Twins for some reason. And he hates the manager, who's the villain in the movie, the Twins manager, who never wears a hat. Yeah, that's real life. And he's like, I hate this guy. He's a prick. And I'm like, you're the GM. Like, you can fire him. There's nothing stopping you from You don't have to put on this fake fucking game.
Is the manager the guy with the blonde hair that was like a Happy Days? The guy who was on Happy Days and Married with Children?
He didn't have blonde hair.
Okay.
Brown hair. I don't know this guy.
Here's one of the worst sports movies that nobody talks about.
Go for it.
You want to talk incoherent? In 1975, there was a made-for-TV movie. It was called The Kid from Left Field. Gary Coleman.
I've heard it.
So Robert Guillon is like a peanut vendor for the San Diego Padres, and his son is Gary Coleman. And somehow Gary Coleman ends up managing the San Diego Padres. Like, they have all the logos. It's at Jack Murphy Stadium. And it's like, none of that shit makes sense at all. I mean, at all. The movie is like that is like,
well, that's what's kind of funny about Little Big League is it like obviously would never happen, but they do set it up in a way that it kind of makes sense, right? The grandfather owns the Twins.
I like that.
Gives the team to, like it does. It could actually happen. Of course it couldn't, but it kind of could.
I would even take what we're talking about.
Like Angels in the Outfield's ridiculous. Like,
I guess Major League 3 is a good example, but they use, again, unwatchable for me. They use real uniforms though and stuff, right? Like the Twins logo is in there in Major League 3,
and they play. And they play in the Metrodome.
Yeah, like.
But what I hate on the flip side.
Well, are we talking about Little Big League or Major League 3?
Major League 3.
Okay, and Little Big League, they also
do
play for the Twins. Okay.
What on the flip side of the Major League 3 thing is, like, can I get some love for the minor league towns here? Like, they're a team called the Buzz. Their hat says Buzz. Their uniform says Buzz. They play in Buzz Stadium. Never in the entirety of that movie do we find out what city they play in. Can I get some love for the minor league cities? Can I get some love for, I don't know,
that's not necessarily a nitpick.
Bemidji or Grand Forks or something?
We need to get something on that. Like that. And that's just not a nitpick. Like, come on, tell us what's the deal.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. And Bob Uecker now calls the games for this AAA team for some reason. And we're going to bring in Pedro Serrano and the really racist Japanese character because they know Scott Bakula. Of course, they didn't play together in any of these movies that you've seen so far, but of course they know each other. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So that's your pick, Necessary Roughness?
Necessary Roughness is my pick far and away. I wrote down a couple because we talked about it. Trouble with the Curve is a recent one that was so bad. And these are two movies.
What sucks about that one, by the way, real quick, is my dad, who I have more respect for than any other baseball fan on the planet, likes that movie.
Oh, really?
Because he
it's
sucks with movies,
probably
man.
Clint Eastwood guy. You know?
Kind of like anything but here's the thing. He hasn't seen like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. But he saw like Cry Macho in theaters a couple years ago because now he has time. All the kids are out of the house. Yeah. He's like, that was really good. Clint Eastwood. Didn't like Oppenheimer because it was too dark. Like literally, physically.
I think I'm with your dad.
But he liked Trouble with the Curve.
Johnny Be Good was really bad, but really good. You don't know what it is, right?
I don't think I've seen it. No.
You got to watch this. It is Anthony Michael Hall. It was It was a turn for him where he plays this superstar quarterback in high school that's getting recruited by everyone. Supporting cast, his girlfriend is Uma Thurman, who works at a supermarket. His best friend is Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. becomes this kind of star-crossed friend who sells out and takes money from this school called UCC and is trying to convince Johnny to go there. You know, he takes a trip to like a school called Old Tex with all these other amazing recruits, and they do all this illegal stuff. It's a great movie, but it's bad because.
Well, you know what else fits into that?
Huh?
You know what fits into like technically bad sports movie, but I guarantee you love it?
What?
Blue Chips.
Oh, dude, Blue Chips is a good movie. Blue Chips is not.
But it's kind of bad.
Yeah, I mean, there's just.
We can admit that. I like Blue Chips too. I love Fever Pitch. That's kind of bad.
Fever Pitch is terrible.
Exactly.
Don't do that. Don't put that in the same category.
I mean,
seriously,
like,
dude, that's bullshit. Fever Pitch is so bad. That might be.
It's not in the same category because Fever Pitch is a rom-com, but like it is bad movie that is kind of
Fever Pitch is horrible. And by the way, as somebody who's not even a Red Sox fan, you should be offended that you said that. Like Jimmy Fallon isn't even a Red Sox fan.
I know.
On the field after you guys won the World Series.
I think we've talked about this. Like that will always kind of bug me. That
dude.
Not only are they not like they're not from there, they're not Red Sox fans. They don't give half a shit about sports in general. Like I do.
Drew
that
Barrymore
does
is from Mars, I think. Like she's
fucking
on the
wild.
field.
Like
so, Drew Barrymore is a great example. I was listening to her. They replayed an interview of her when she was on Stern a couple years ago on Howard 101 on Sirius, and I have been on this for a while, but I'm pretty tolerant of stars and whatever. I'm not looking for reason not to like people, but she is one of those people who has been famous for so long. Since she doesn't know any other way of life, she's not normal,
not human,
like not even close to normal, like super weird. Like I'm not saying she doesn't have a good heart, but like very, very different than me. We're
gonna keep rolling, by the way, because I already ran a commercial break in the beginning, so we ran our commercial. So I'm gonna take you up to the end, even though you hate that.
Let's do it.
So I heard this about Child Stars.
Wow, Blue Chips was only a 40 on Rotten Tomatoes. Not that that's like the be all end all.
So I heard this about child stars once, and it rings true very much in this case of like these people, their emotional development, kind of social development stops, emotional maturity kind of thing stops when they become a star. So like Taylor Swift is 16, like in a lot of ways, right? Drew Barrymore was a star when she was 4 fucking years old. So
yeah, and she
no
got
chance. Like no, that's like it's almost a pass to me on almost anything for child stars. They're so much different from the rest of the world. Like, it's just like, of course they're crazy. She's crazy and I can't even blame her for it.
I would agree. And you have reason to come down on that.
Yeah. Like I knew you'd love Blue Chips. I knew you'd love Any Given Sunday.
Blue Chips is awesome. I mean, you've got everything in that movie. You've got Bobby Knight, you have Bobby Hurley. It's just like, there's so many.
By the way,
Shaq does a great job.
Yeah, no, but yeah,
Shaq does a great job.
Why? why was Danny's name not really thrown in the Knicks mix? By the way, we're really hodgepodge in here. Like,
well, I think he made it clear last year that he was not going to go to the NBA, and I think that had to be somebody close enough to like the Leon Rose and the James Dolan to be like, no. I would imagine.
I guess, but I just for being a Jersey guy in Connecticut, like that has to be a much better sell to say the Knicks.
I mean, honestly,
than the Lakers.
I think
that one thing, but
I think it will be such a shitstorm, dude. If he went, we saw. Honestly,
I'm not even saying he should take it.
We just finished Celtic City, where like Rick Pitino. We saw how quickly that act wore thin in the NBA with the Celtics. Danny Hurley, much different person, a different coach, but same type of vibe as far as like, you talk to these kids like they're in college. Like that. I really don't believe that would work.
We're starting to see. I think we talked about this once a long time ago, but like, it's just not. You don't see as many slam dunk hires anymore. Like coaches are a little bit more wary of, like how shit this job is. You know what I mean? And players to some extent too. But I think we are starting to see some more of that. Speaking of a player who could handle it, I teased this question on your show, but I think we need to address it. So Tom Brady has been chatting up Sofia Vergara, but also rumors within the last couple of weeks, 2 weeks or so, he was chatting up Sydney Sweeney. Two of my favorite people on the planet, just hitting it off, like having a great time. Tom Brady's about to turn 48 on August 3rd, and Sydney Sweeney is about to turn 28. We're almost exactly the same age, like within a week or two of each other. Which is, by the way, this is going to sound creepy, but it's one of the greatest things of my celebrity appreciating life. The fact that she will always be my age, Sydney Sweeney, which rocks. Is that weird? Is that weird if they got together?
Yeah, I think so. Let me put this shit down.
It looks cool when you hold it.
It does? It looks cool?
Yeah, it feels like we're on Simmons or something.
Does it sound better when I do that?
It sounds the same.
Okay.
Sounds the same.
So I'm putting it down. It looks like I'm holding a hotel hairdryer.
Kind of.
So I think it would be weird. I'm starting to err on this, like as Tom Brady and he's a little older than me, like a year. I'm starting to get like, I'll tell you where this comes from. I saw a Dateline the other night. Now, years ago, this is like in the 90s, there was a woman who was an anchor in Iowa.
Yes.
Jody Husen, Trite or Husen.
Yeah, really tough last name. She went missing.
Yeah, tough last name. Morning anchor. Everybody loved her. She disappeared the night before our show. And nobody has ever found her body or anything since. And it was a really compelling story. And there was a man who was connected to her. And the woman at the time was 23 or 24. Let's say she's 24. This guy who was connected to her was 48. Okay. Mm-hmm. And they were spending a shitload of time together. Mm-hmm. And, he was a guy who it seemed like had like, if you're in TV news and somebody has a little bit of money, like to you, that's a lot, right? Yeah. If it's like your first job.
Yeah.
So this guy's
moving somewhere new. Like, all those things.
And so this guy had like a boat, but it was like whatever. And he had like, some resources. He's almost 50. But they spent a ton of time together, and apparently the guy had a crush on her or whatever. So he was not only a suspect for a while, but he was also like dragged into the court of public opinion. Like, this is weird. Like, why is this guy 48 hanging out with a 24-year-old? And for me, that was like a sobering moment. I was like, gosh, because working in TV news now, I've made friends with like younger girls or young women.
I bet you texted Allie after that, be like, hope you're okay. Like, glad you're okay.
Allie Cadlebar is probably 24. Okay. I'm 23 years older than her. Like she's like one of my best buddies, but like from the outside, people are like, that's fucking strange. Like Christy Soto. Now she's probably 28 or 29. So it's a little closer in age, but like still like that. When people were weighing in on this guy and like, why was he friends with her? I was like a little shaken up. I was like, you stay true to your core values. I know these women are my friends.
I mean, I would also say you work with these women.
Yes.
Like you're also coworkers. Like,
Yeah, and I was more social with Soto than I ever was with Allie, but I hung out with him sometimes. But it was definitely like, I just thought like if Allie Kavabar disappeared, people might be like,
who's this music guy who's now got some money and he's twice her age.
No. But yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, so I do think it's weird. I think like that. And also it's like, I'm a little down on Tom because can't he just find a woman who's divorced and lives on the Back Bay, or maybe she's divorced and lives in Scottsdale, Arizona, and has 2 kids. Like, why does it always have to be somebody super famous? Not just famous, super famous. Like, that's a little weird.
Well, see, yeah, here's the thing that we throw in there of like obviously 20 years is 20 years, but is it 20 years when they're celebrities and they can't live normal lives? And like, I understand your point, and I agree. Like, you can also be in a relationship with a regular person, a non-famous person.
Yeah.
But like, does that make a difference that they are famous? They can't go out anywhere. Like,
I guess they have that's probably a pretty strong bond. That's got to.
But like, that is something I think about, like, with to bring her back into the conversation again. Taylor Swift is like, why don't you just date someone normal at this point? Like, you keep dating celebrities and they rip your heart out. You make an album and you're this tortured poet. Fucking date a CPA. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, and that's the issue.
Probably doesn't have any real friends. Like,
well, that's the issue with all of us in our relationships, or most of us. Like, a lot of people, myself included, for a long time, you just keep making the same mistakes over and over again. Hopefully, it works out now for Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. But yeah, like, I would love to see Tom date somebody normal. Can we find the next Bridget Moynihan? Like, what if Tom Brady started to date
Diamond in the Rough? Well, that's also his age. Yeah. It's tough, Pete.
What about Michelle Monaghan? Like, that would be perfect, right? The girl who's just right. That would be, if she got with Tom, I would be so behind that and be like that. That's cool, because some of these, even like the Sofia Vergara, like, again, like, not only is she like a gorgeous, like, elite, like, actress, she's also like a supermodel. Like, so she's like, there's a shitload of money there and just a ton of fame. Tom goes for he's top of the line, man.
For sure. He's definitely top shelf and looking at shelf quite a bit. What's funny is, who kind of had that nailed out perfectly for a long time, like what you just described, of like a person that's your age, normal, not famous, who had that right for a long time, is Bill Belichick. Right? Like, with Linda, he had a hot girlfriend. They never got married. That was a little bit younger. I want to say she's probably 10 years younger than him. Not crazy. Like, my parents are 7 years difference. It's not nuts. And she was just a normal, regular person. And then he goes to the complete other side of the spectrum. Not a famous person, but
can we talk about Belichick though? Like,
I know you like to, yeah.
I gotta give him credit, and I haven't talked about him in a while. Like, I don't know who got to him or if he made a decision, but clearly there was a decision that was made, and I would have to believe it was by him, because we have seen a dramatic change over the last month or so of Jordan, I even forget her name now. Jordan Hudson, and her involvement in his life or North Carolina football, the social media posts, like, it's almost football season.
It's true.
You gotta give him credit, like, because I believe, and I'll say this to all the Boston people and, Belichick fans, like, we all get, like, everybody gets a couple crazy relationships. Like, everybody gets to date a psycho. Like, you get to date one or two, and the key is that they don't, like, become the lifetime decision, right? It's just a story you tell someday. Like, that is hopefully what Bill is kind of moving out of. So that's my hope for him. But there was a moment in time where it looked like that might have been a lifetime decision. I feel like we're moving out of that a little.
He's just going to be at ACC Media Days next week. Bill
sure,
Belichick,
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's fucking weird, man. He's going to do the scramble. He's going to take pictures with the mascots.
Yeah, it's funny because
we're going to be talking to Isaac Shade of Locked on Tar Heels.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, what's cool about those, just being most recently, being at many media days like I have been before, but it was reiterated once again being at Big 12 Media Days. Like, you're in there, you're credentialed. So it's so you're supposed to be in there for a job, and you're supposed to be a card-carrying member of the media who has a purpose. And I think that with that comes the grace and the accessibility to all these people. So your boy from Locked On Tar Heels, he may get a chance to roll up on him and ask him a question. I mean, Joey Maguire is not Bill Belichick, but I mean, Joey Maguire at a couple points was just he's a purposeful guy. He's not wandering around, but he was just hanging out, down on the field. Anybody could have gone up and talked to him. I wasn't there for Coach Prime. I thought about that. I was I wonder what that's like. I think it's different for him. I also think he's got some health stuff going on, so they want to kind of shepherd him out of there. Yeah.
Yes. I think both those things can be true.
Yeah.
I think he's got some health issues and he wants to be shepherded out of there quite quickly. Anyway, Pete Souza, thanks so much for joining the show, Pete. I appreciate it.
I got one more thing for you.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick. Yeah.
While we're talking about Coach Prime, he did his media availability and he asked for the first question. He said, I want a woman to ask a question. And so a woman gets the mic and all you hear is she announces who she is. And he says, I love your hair. I love your hair. Now, Coach Prime has drifted into this zone where he's almost uncancelable. Like if I were to say that, or let's say Joey Maguire were to say that, right? Or Sonny Dykes.
I like doing this game.
That.
Yeah.
Sonny Dykes said that to a 24-year-old woman who was asking a question. That would be whoa, flag on the play, big deal, right?
Or just the other way around of what if Dion said, I'd like a man to ask the question first?
Oh,
it's a different can of worms, but it also is what are we doing here? But yes, no, you're right. If Chris Kleiman is ooh, love that hair. What's that scent you got on, girl? If
people
he just
be
did something like that.
So weird, right? But Coach Prime is he just operates above all the bullshit.
I guess, but it makes you wonder what they get away with. Anyway, Pete, thanks so much for coming on, man. It's been too long. We'll get you back on next week or the week after, or maybe even the week after that. We'll see. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Pete. Appreciate you. He leads into us every weekday. He is available on the Rogue Media Sports Network live at the Pete Souza Show. And then comes us every weekday, high noon Eastern time, available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts as well. Thank you so much for making it a part of your daily routine. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Our numbers have skyrocketed over the last few weeks, and we need your help getting to 4,000 by the end of the summer. We'll have some more Bruins stuff next week, of course, every weekday. I'm your host, Cam Stewart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air. We will see you then on a little ditty that we like to call The Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Tusains, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.